Also so the actual meaning.
Check 1, 2, test the audio. Check 1, 2, testing audio.
DM Singh, can we check your audio?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Thank you. Sorry, can you identify yourself?
Deputy Mayor Singh.
Thank you. Good morning, Councillor Fortini. Can we check your audio?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Councillor Fortini. Can we check your audio, please?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for
Okay, members of council, that O Canada played prematurely. You didn't have a chance to introduce it. But seeing that we're 1 minute out and we have quorum, I see Councillor Vasante, Councillor Brard, Councillor Pelletier, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Santos. Who do we have online to the clerk?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. We have Councillor Tour and Councillor Fortini online.
Okay, great.
You also have Deputy Mayor Singh online.
Okay.
Thank you, Deputy.
Okay, as we begin today's meeting, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered here today on traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. This is normally where I say, please all rise for the singing of our national anthem. But IT was so patriotic today that they got ahead of that because we love our country. Now it's a moment for personal reflection. Thank you. Now we have the approval agenda, and the clerk has some updates.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. The following items have been added to the revised agenda. 7.2, delegations regarding Committee of Adjustment decisions. Additional information has been added for Delegation 5, 6, and 8. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. The report has been published. 10.3.1, Staff Review of Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge. The report is published. 10.4.1, Development of a Citywide Child Care Center Land Use Study. The report is published. 14.1, Correspondence regarding the Staff Review of Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge. Correspondence added. 14.2, Correspondence from the Regional Chair of the Region of Peel to the Honourable Doug Ford has been added regarding a motion opposing Credit Valley Conservation Consolidation. Has been added, and 18.4, Bylaw 50-2026, the bylaw title has been revised and the bylaw published.
Okay. Are there any other items members wish to raise at this point? And any additions? I see Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I noticed that there's 19.4 is a verbal update residential development charge reductions. And I think that given that we had an announcement from the province, maybe it's better just to refer that back to staff and then bring that forward once we have more information. The province announced something without information, so we'll wait until that detailed information comes back before staff come back to council.
Councillor Brar.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Want to add the closed verbal update sponsorship agreement. Just wanted to make sure that was.
Okay, what item will that be? 19.8. Okay. We have a motion moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Brar to approve the agenda as amended, the amended agenda. All those in favor? Motion carries. Are there declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, the clerk will so note. We have the following city council minutes before us today. Minutes March 11th, 2026. Do any members have any comments or questions? Seeing none, we have motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Vasante to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. I'm going to read the items and let me know if you want to hold it for debate. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. Staff report, Brampton's Business Climate Action Program. Staff report, Purchasing Activity Quarterly Report, fourth quarter. 10.31, staff report, a staff review of the Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge with the recommendation. 10.41, staff report, development of citywide child care center land use study. Staff report, request to begin procurement for hot in-place recycling technology pilot. 11.1, annual integrity commissioner report. 12.1, minutes planning and development committee. Summary. Sorry.
I don't know if that's the one you want to hold.
March 23rd.
Okay. I need to hold something specific from that. Okay, so name the specific one, and we can move the rest of the minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, typically we hold that particular item, because now that we're holding the whole thing, you have Steve Ganesh looking to pull all of planning in here because he doesn't know which ones to hold. So typically in the minutes, we hold one particular item, but okay. The one item that I'm holding is the minutes for the application on Credit View and El Camino. Thank you.
And Councillor Santos?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor. I'm holding in the planning minutes 9.2, the Heritage Board minutes of meeting.
So Commissioner Ganesh, any other planning staff that want to go back to work and help us build infrastructure and housing, tell them those are the only two items. 12.2, summary recommendations. 14.1, correspondence from Elizabeth Ann Patterson and Sydney Waxman. 14.2, correspondence from Nano Unica Regional Chair regarding Credit Valley Conservation. 16.1, referred matters list. 19.1, closed session minutes. 19.2, closed session minutes. 19.3, closed report. 19.4, held for verbal update. No, that's referred, yeah, sorry. 19.5, closed report. 19.6, closed report. 19.7, as held for verbal update. 19.8, held for verbal update. I have a motion moved by Councillor Power, seconded by Councillor Santos to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. We have the following proclamations today, and members of council are going to help me with the reading of the proclamations. One of our environmental advocates, Councillor Paleschi, asked if he could read Earth Month. Of course, our environmental education center that we're building is Councillor Paleschi's idea. So over to Councillor Paleschi for Earth Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Earth Month. Earth Day is an extension of Earth Day and its extension, Earth Month, are annual global events aimed at promoting environmental awareness and supporting efforts towards environmental conservation and preservation. The City of Brampton is a community that strives to conserve, enhance, and balance our natural and built environments to create a healthy, resilient, and sustainable city. Earth Month serves as an opportunity to unite the community, encouraging collective responsibility over the Earth's natural resources. The City of Brampton will celebrate Earth Day on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, and Earth Month during the entire month of April. During Earth Month, the city will host numerous environmental initiatives, including organized park cleanups and community plantings. The city also encourages residents to imagine your impact through the choices they make that help reduce litter, protect public spaces, and keep Brampton clean. Earth Month facilitates a space for the Brampton community to learn about various city-led and community-led sustainability programs, initiatives, and ways they can get involved. On behalf of Mayor Patrick Brown, the City Council do hereby proclaim April 20, 2026 as Earth Month in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Plushy. Is there a representative here from Earth Month?
Everybody is.
I don't see any, so we'll make sure. Oh, come on to the front if you want to respond to the proclamation.
Pam can elaborate on what other events are happening. That would be great.
Thank you to you, Mayor, and members of council. Yes, there's lots of events planned for Earth Month. Our parks group are very busy with tree plantings and litter cleanups, which are very important so we can enjoy our green spaces. And then, of course, we're all looking forward to the Go Green Festival, which will happen in June, which will have lots of other environmental events for the residents of Brampton. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll do a photo together with the proclamation after. Our next proclamation is for Sikh Heritage Month, and Councillor Brar, who is always instrumental in helping us organize Sikh Heritage Month celebrations, is going to read the pledge.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Brampton proudly recognizes the month of April as Sikh Heritage Month, a time to celebrate the rich history, culture, and contributions of Sikh Canadians. Sikh Canadians have played a significant role in shaping the social, economic, political, and cultural fabric of Brampton and across Ontario, enriching our communities through their enduring values of equality, service, and community. The month of April holds deep significance for the Sikh community, including the celebration of Vaisakhi, which marks the creation of the Khalsa and represents values of equality, service, and justice. Sikh Heritage Month is an opportunity to remember, celebrate, and educate future generations about the important role of Sikh Canadians have played and continue to play across Ontario, including their significant contributions to Brampton's social, economic, cultural, and civic life, helping to build a vibrant and inclusive community. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sikh Heritage Month in the City of Brampton. And just want to encourage my council colleagues and the public, you can visit sikhheritagemonth.ca to visit or to participate in some of the events. I know we don't have a representation here, but I know they're really busy kicking off PAMA with Sikh Heritage Month, and they have paid for the services for PAMA, so it is free, part of Sikh Heritage Month, so you can visit PAMA, and we'll be handing off the proclamation during our Sikh flag raising event. Thank you.
Our next proclamation is also going to be read by Councillor Brar, and she's done a lot of advocacy around this Awareness Week, the Plant-Based Food Awareness Week. If you recall, we had a delegation about this last year.
Yes.
Councillor Brar, over to you.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Plant-Based Food Awareness Week. There is a climate, ocean, and biodiversity crisis. The three main greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, are at record levels and rapidly accelerating. Food contributes to 1/3 of greenhouse gases, mostly from meat, dairy, and egg consumption. Animal farming is also a driving force impacting other planetary boundaries such as biodiversity loss, deforestation, species extinction, freshwater use, soil degradation, and ocean dead zones. According to climate scientists, it will be impossible for any government to meet the goals set under the Paris Agreement without a major shift towards a plant-based diet, even if current fossil fuel emissions are completely halted. A plant-based diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole foods offers significant health benefits, optimizing well-being and aiding in disease prevention and treatment. The Plant-Based Treaty mission is to promote a shift towards a just, plant-based food system that would enable us to live safely within our planetary boundaries and reforest the Earth. In addition to calling for cities and institutions to implement best practices in plant-based food policies, their vision includes a global plant-based treaty informed by the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, enabling a plant-based food system. On November 20th, 2024, Brampton became the first city in Ontario to endorse the call for a global plant-based treaty to improve accessibility and promote the consumption of plant-based foods, helping Brampton adopt to and mitigate the impacts of climate change while improving social justice and economic well-being. Last year, Brampton celebrated the first Plant-Based Food Awareness Week, and this year we want to continue to raise awareness about the benefits of plant-based diet while promoting plant-based options in our city. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim April 20th to 24th, 2026 as Plant-Based Awareness Week in the city of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Brower, for your great advocacy around this. Our last proclamation is going to be read by Councillor Santos. We've got two significant events coming up, Brampton Book Week and the Festival of Literary Diversity. And I remember when I became mayor, Councillor Santos told me that JL, Richardson, and Fold is the best, and your enthusiasm for them is contagious. I still remember that big purple banner for Fold, and we've got something special with Fold, and I would encourage all members of council during Book Week, pick a library to read a book at. I'm going to be doing that. It's going to be fun. Let's show our love of libraries, books, and literary diversity. Over to Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. Brampton Book Week. Whereas Brampton Book Week is a citywide celebration of storytelling, reading, and literature, recognizing the power of books to inspire imagination, foster dialogue, and connect communities. The City of Brampton, in partnership with local cultural organizations, recognizes Book Week as a celebration of Brampton's role as a vibrant literary hub and a champion of diverse storytelling, honoring writers, readers, and storytellers from all backgrounds. Brampton is home to a growing community of talented authors, including several inductees to the Brampton Arts Walk of Fame, whose stories have enriched the national and global literary landscape. This year, Brampton Book Week aligns with Canada Book Day on April the 23rd, as well as the Festival of Literary Diversity, Fold, one of my favorites, which takes place from April 26th to May 3rd, 2026. During Brampton Book Week, a variety of book events and literary programming will take place across the city, encouraging local residents to visit libraries, show support to local booksellers, and attend community events such as author talks, spoken word performances, writing workshops, and literary showcases, as well as members of council doing storytelling at various libraries. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim April 21st till May 3rd, 2026 as Brampton Book Week in the city of Brampton. And I believe we have the Brampton Library here as well to accept the proclamation.
Great, and I forgot to mention the Plant-Based Food Awareness Week. Are they here today? There, okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to hear from the Brampton Library, then we'll hear from you. I forgot to give you the opportunity to respond to Councillor Brower's proclamation. Okay, to the library.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. My name is Todd Kyle. I'm the CEO of Brampton Library. The library is proud to be part of Brampton Book Week, along with all of our partners, Brampton On Stage, PAMA, Experience Brampton, BOW, the Brampton Arts Organization, the Fold, Festival of Literary Diversity and Cultural Services at the City of Brampton. It is wonderful to be part of a city and a community that celebrates reading. And so throughout this period, we will be celebrating and promoting writers, readers, and storytellers with our community partners through a whole bunch of special events. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what those are, the library and BOW are hosting a writer-in-residence, Susan Palumbo, who is here with us today, and she will be doing drop-in office hours and one-on-one writing consultations at our Mount Pleasant Village Library. April 22nd, the library and Fold are presenting Giller Prize-winning, award-winning authors, Sivankam Thamavongsa, at the Cyril Clark Library. There's also Cultural Services presenting the Flower City Slam and the Comic Creation Station, and of course, most importantly, of course, during this period is the Fold Festival of Literary Diversity happening here in downtown Brampton, but also online virtually, and concluding with a screening of the film The Librarians at the Rose on Sunday, May 3rd. So thank you very much to Mayor and Council for all your support, and let's hope we can make Brampton a reading community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't see any further comments, but we're grateful for all the work that Brampton Library does. This finishes our proclamations, but we do want to hear from the Plant-Based Food Awareness Week. A chance to respond to Councillor Brower's reading of the proclamation, and then we'll do the photos.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for the support you've shown to the plant-based treaty. And I think it's just so important because a lot of us are simply not aware of the impact we can have on the environment, the climate, simply through our food choices. And I'm glad to see that the city of Brampton is raising awareness about that. Thank you.
Councillor Santos wanted to respond to that.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for coming in for the proclamation today. I do want to give a special shout out to a local business that just opened up in my ward on Vauden and Main Street called Vegeholic. And I don't know if the folks in Plant-Based Treaty know about Vegeholic, but I was there to cut the ribbon, open the doors together with the Economic Development Office. And Cameron, who is the owner of the place, is looking to actually hopefully expand to have vegetarian protein-based options manufactured here in our city, which is a big deal because right now you can't get the tempeh that they have and the other products they have in Canada. They actually have to outsource it from the US or from India. And so not only is it fantastic, fresh, delicious food, but to all the non-veg people out there, this is one of the only vegetarian places that's purely veg, totally plant-based, amazing for the environment, doing business in Brampton and looking to expand a product in our city. So please do support them, Vegeholic on Main and Vauden.
Okay, Council, let's go to the front with the pledges and we'll present them to the appropriate organizations. Okay, this takes us to. Councilor Plush, you have a point of order?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, and members of council, I thought it was on the agenda of planning. It wasn't. There was a report that was coming, so it was my confusion. My apologies. I have to reopen the agenda. Add a item with relation to the application. The application number can be passed on to the clerks to put it up at that time for discussion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
To our Commissioner of Planning and our clerk, you understand that?
Through you, Mayor Brown, I do, and I'll send the clerk an email with the application number and some direction.
I'm going to seek if there's 2/3 to reopen the agenda. Any opposition? All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to our announcement on the Business Climate Action Program results. This is a council sponsor, Councilor Tour. We have Andrea Williams, Sector Manager, Advanced Manufacturing.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council and senior leadership team. My name is Andrea Williams, Sector Manager for Advanced Manufacturing within Economic Development, and I'm here today in honor of Earth Month to provide a quick update on Brampton's Business Climate Action Program. So far, to date, 17 businesses have participated in the program, and many have already begun implementing actions that are saving energy and water, lowering GHG emissions, and improving overall efficiency. These efforts directly support Brampton's environmental and economic goals. And to walk you through the results in more detail, I wanted to introduce Matt Brunette. He's the Programs Manager for Partners in Project Green. So I'll take it over to you.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the program. We're very excited to share what we've been up to over the past couple of years through the Brampton Climate Action Program. Next slide, please. So as Andrea mentioned, we've been able to engage about 17 organizations across Brampton through our site assessments, which allow us to visit facilities with our partners to identify opportunities for energy efficiency, cost savings, GHG reduction, water efficiency, and climate resilience. As you can see from this slide here, there are many notable Brampton organizations that have participated in the program. They've all come to us at different stages in their sustainability journey, some of them a bit further along using the program to help validate and bolster their efforts, while others have come at earlier stages and used the program to help develop a high-level roadmap and sustainability strategy. So just want to take a quick opportunity to thank all of the participants through the program thus far. We've certainly learned a lot from them and continue to be inspired by their commitment to action. Next slide, please. So here are results that we've been seeing through 14 site assessments so far. We completed another one just last week and have 2 more to complete before the end of the month. As you can see, we've identified significant potential for GHG reductions, energy savings, and cost savings. We're also happy to share that over the time of this program, through our follow-ups with participants, we're happy to report that several projects are already in the stages of implementation, representing about 295,000 kilowatt hours of electricity saved, 25,000 meters cubed of natural gas saved, which is about $40,000 in annual cost savings, leveraging about $94,000 in incentive programs, representing about 66 tons in GHG emissions saved. These projects represent different things from compressed air to air curtains, lighting controls. Through the program with Region of Peel with their water audits, we're also happy to share that 4 of our program participants have identified 20 opportunities with estimated savings of about 511 million liters of water annually for savings. So quite a significant impact for the program, and very happy to share that we'll continue to provide updates as we continue to follow up with our program participants. Next slide, please. In terms of next steps, we're happy to announce the continuation of the program over the next year, representing about 10 additional site assessments and an additional workshop. We'll be sharing this at Brampton Board of Trade's Energy and Environment Forum in a couple of weeks, so would invite you to come out if you haven't already registered. And just want to take this opportunity again to thank Council and City of Brampton for their support in the program and their commitment to sustainability. We're very much looking forward to the impact we can have together.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion moved by Councilor Santos, second by Councilor Pelletier to accept the announcement. Receive the announcement. All those in favor, motion carries. This takes us to our delegations. We have a delegation from Peter N., Supervisor SHW Pumps and Engine Components, in regards to our Business Climate Action Program results. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Enns. I'm the maintenance supervisor at SHW. First of all, I would like to thank the City of Brampton for the opportunity to be here today and to share our experience and the positive impact of the climate action program at our facility. As part of our site assessment, we identified several projects, some smaller ones and one major project. But before we go into that, I would like to briefly introduce our company, SHW. Next slide, please. SHW is an automotive supplier with its headquarters located in Germany. At SHW Canada, we produce and assemble pumps for well-known automotive manufacturers such as GM, Ford, Cummins, and many more. Next slide, please. SHW employs over 1,800 people worldwide, with just over 50 employees here at our Brampton location. Next slide, please. Our project portfolio includes oil, water, and vacuum pumps, as well as combined solution, which we call tandem or multifunctional pumps. With the rise of electric vehicles, we also expanded our portfolio to include specialized pumps for battery cooling and thermal management systems. Next slide, please. To give you a better idea of our daily operations, our pumps are assembled of a combination of machines, robots, and skilled employees in a highly automated environment aligned with the latest industry and quality standards. Next slide, please. Normally there should be a video, but somehow it's not running, but that's okay. Next slide, please. Those operations require a significant amount of energy. So together with Save on Energy, the TRCA, and the Brampton Climate Action Program, we conducted a site assessment to better understand our electricity, water, and gas usage. Through this process, we identified several opportunities to reduce energy and water consumption, giving us a clear roadmap to improve efficiency and reduce environmental footprint. Next one, please. We then followed the Trias Energetica principle, focusing first on reducing energy demand and avoiding unnecessary consumptions or waste. Next slide, please. Our largest project was the installation of a new energy-efficient air compressor system. In collaboration with Save on Energy, we implemented an incentive-supported upgrade of our entire compressed air system. The new system allows us to adjust power consumption based on our demands and not on constant level like it was before. We also improved system efficiency by reducing unnecessary losses and implementing a heat recovery system. That means in the wintertime, the recovered heat is used to warm the building, and in summertime, we redirect the heat outside to reduce cooling demands. Overall, this project reduces both CO2 emissions and operating costs while improving the efficiency of our production. It was also very important for us to support local businesses. We worked with suppliers and service providers from Mississauga and Brampton, contributing to the local economy. The project has been smoothly running since November last year and has been a great success. Next slide, please. Overall, our experience with the Climate Action Program has been extremely positive. It not only helps us to reduce energy consumption and cost, but also made it easier to identify and implement sustainable improvements. Programs like this make a real difference for companies like ours. Thank you very much for your attention, and special thanks to Matt, Andrea, Clayton, and Harish for their support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion moved by Councillor Power, seconded by Councillor Brar, to receive the delegation. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our delegations around the Committee of Adjustment decisions, and I believe the clerk may have some instruction for the legal protocol we must follow.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Brown. Just a brief reminder to our delegates. Council is receiving delegations today, And while council may receive or refer a delegation, it cannot pause, change, or reverse a decision of the Committee of Adjustment.
Okay, so our first delegate, deputant is Norma English.
Okay, I see 5 minutes has already started. Okay, my name is Norma English. I'm a resident and owner at 28 Chapel. I live there with my husband and 3 children. We moved to this property about 8 to 9 years ago. And we moved there because we want to live there. This is a residential area. And quite honestly, when we received the notice that 17 Chapel, which is just almost across the street and a little bit north of where we are, was going to put in a 60-child daycare, I was shocked. Our area has changed since I moved in, okay? Over the last few years, our area has seen a significant increase in traffic. Queen Street, Highway 10, has been reduced from a 4-lane to a 2-lane traffic lane highway. This has increased the traffic going through our neighborhood substantially. And I want to reinforce that this is a residential area. 17 Chapel is a single-family dwelling in its original form, which was over the years converted to a limited-use commercial property. And I emphasize limited use. Han Spa was in there, which would see 1 to 2 people coming in at a time. Across the street right now is a physiotherapy office. Again, they see 1 to 2 people coming in at a time. The reason that the bylaw with uses indicates these smaller type businesses in there is because it's nestled right into our neighborhood where people are living with their family. To introduce a 60-child daycare into this area is insane. Not only does this property not fit 60 children plus 25 staff, they'll be stuffed in there. And the parcel of land isn't large enough that they want to build a 2-story extension to the back, right to the property line, where there is another residential property where their house is. It will be abutting up to a property, and Mr. Wiley will address that later. This is a commercial operation that should be in a commercial, appropriately a commercial property. This is a large-scale daycare. If it was 5 to 10 children being put in there, the neighbors would not be up in arms, okay? I could bring in 5 to 10 kids, quit my job, and do that, and nobody would care because there would not be an impact. To put in 60 children is irresponsible, and to suggest that it's okay, it's not. This commercial business should have sufficient parking. It should be in a commercial operation. It should have a commercial, enough space in the commercial area so that traffic comes in, because you're going to have 60 parents that are frantic trying to dump their kid off because they have to get to work or to school. You need to have a facility that's properly a commercial zoned area, which has sufficient parking for 60 parents to come in and park, and to also facilitate 25 staff members. You also need a property that can absorb those numbers of cars coming in at very specific areas for pickup and drop off, okay? And you need to have that so it's not impairing traffic on the street, and it's not impacting parking. Downtown Brampton is not the place. We lack parking, and we also lack a clear pathway. We're already impacted by high traffic. There has been a high number of people 60 meters from 17 Chapel that have come forward or signed a petition opposing this. Out of the entire Chapel Street from Wellington to John, across the street from this daycare, they have all said no. These are long-term residents that are living there for decades. I'm the new kid on the block with 8 to 9 years. I think this needs to be stopped. I think that I'm recommending or suggesting that the city file an application with the OLT. We have been stopped thanks to the Red Tape Act that Mr. Ford put in place, but this needs to be stopped. This is impacting our quiet enjoyment. We can't move. This is where we live. This daycare can relocate to an appropriate commercial property that can absorb the parking needs as well as the traffic flow. Okay, thank you. Please do something about this. This is inappropriate. And the neighborhood is up in arms. And the petition is just the tip of an iceberg. There is a
Thank you. Next delegation is Arnold Wiley, Brampton resident, regarding minor variance application A 2025-0107.
My name is Arnold Wiley, and I live at 19 Chapel Street in Brampton, immediately adjacent to subject property. I am here to formally object to this daycare application on the grounds that it fails all 4 statutory tests under the Planning Act. The applicant has essentially used the Committee of Adjustment as a shortcut to avoid the rigors of a full planning application. I believe the Committee of Adjustment exceeded its jurisdictional authority, and even in so doing so, its review failed to apply the 4 tests for a minor variance. In an urban planning, for a variance to be legally granted, it must meet 4 specific criteria based on the proximity and scale of the daycare, and proposal fails all 4. A setback reduction from 6 meters down to 1.5 is not a minor variance. It's a 75% deviation from the bylaw. This is a massive geographical shift that creates an unacceptable and permanent hardship for my home. I have 3 existing windows facing the applicant's property. The proposed 2-story building pushed within 1.5 meters of our shared property line will permanently block all 3 windows on the north side of my home, resulting in a total loss of amenity. Loss of light. These windows represent 33% of the total natural light on my living space. By allowing this variance, the city would effectively be walling off my home. A 2-story wall only 1.5 meters away will block all direct sunlight and create a permanent shadow, eliminating natural light to my home. Let's put this into perspective. This is the distance between my home and a 2-story building, 2-story with a roof. Okay? Solar shadowing. This increases electricity costs, light, heat costs, loss of passive solar gain, and removes the psychological benefit of natural light. The looming effect. The proximity creates a sense of enclosure and physical oppression, making my home feel significantly smaller and darker, effectively closing in on my home and personal space. Stagnant air and restricted ventilation. By reducing the side yard buffer so drastically, the applicant is restricting the natural flow and cross breeze and air circulation between our structures. The 1.5 meter gap restricts natural air cross ventilation, potentially leading to moisture buildup and dead air zones between structures. It restricts fire, police, ambulance service to my home in the event of an emergency, creates a security risk to the side of the home for 3 windows that I have to either board up, brick up, do something with. Visually, you can't see from John Street into the property or my home anymore. Visually from Chapel Street, you can't see into my home. Security risk. A daycare with 60 children is an institutional grade noise source, not a typical residential backyard play scenario. Expected noise levels. These numbers are recognized by the World Health Organization and Ontario government as being accurate. A typical residential neighborhood sits at 45 to 50 decibels. Average children playing in a playground with 60 children generates constant levels of 75 to 85 decibels with a peak group activity, shrieks and screams at 90 to 95 decibels, equivalent to a lawnmower, power tools, or a hairdryer running constantly outside my window. Daycare operational noise. Acoustic reflection. The echo chamber effect.
1 minute, sir.
I'll need more. Effect with only 1.5 meters, the building sound waves will bounce off the daycare's wall and the neighbor's wall, creating a reverberation chamber. This amplifies the noise significantly compared to an open field. Frequency of use. Unlike a backyard party or children's play area, the noise is constant, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and eventually the facility will want to open and operate 7 days a week. Mechanical noise. A facility fit with 60 children requires heavy-duty HVAC and ventilation systems. If these are in place in the 1.5 meter side yard, the low-frequency hum will be audible throughout the neighbor's walls 24/7. Drop-off, pickup within 60 children. There will be roughly 120 vehicles trips per day, morning and afternoon. This creates idling noise, slamming doors, and exhaust fumes adjacent to neighboring properties. By reducing the buffer to 1.5, the applicant is placing a high noise commercial use.
Thank you so
directly-
much, Arnold.
I need to
Time
continue.
is up. I'm so sorry. Everyone, we've got another 6 delegations, and thank you, Arnold. Madam Clerk, can you explain the procedure of delegations, please? Sorry, Arnold, it's just the procedural bylaw that everyone only gets 5 minutes. Thank you. The next delegation is Tom South, Brampton resident, regarding minor variance application 8/2025-0107. Okay, so thank you very much. Next delegation, if Tom is not here, is Margaret Corcoran, Brampton resident, regarding minor variance application A/2025-0107.
Good morning. Thank you very much for putting us on the agenda. We really appreciate it. I'm a bit nervous here, so bear with me. I guess I love Brampton and I love my neighborhood, and that's why I live here for 30 years, paid my taxes, contributed to the community. I, like many of the downtown residents, am horrified by the lack of credible planning that has ushered in this plan to convert a single family dwelling into a mega daycare center. I'm sorry, I cannot call it a daycare center because 62 children with 25 staff is a mega daycare. Every single voter that I have spoken to is a solid no. I believe there's a petition going on now, and even with the limited time that we've had, I think there's over 225 signatures on it already. We're not anti-daycare. Daycare is an integral part of the modern family. People need to work. Both parents work. I've used them in my career. It's a godsend to parents, but one in the wrong place is not a godsend. It's a disruption to everyday life. And I think one of the major things that I'm concerned about is the safety. From what I gather, people who planned this expected that parents would park in an underground parking lot, unpack your children, walk across a very busy street, no crosswalk, no safety crosswalk, walk 60 meters up in through the most congested part of Brampton during rush hour. It might be quiet at other times, but during rush hour, it's every man for himself. And it will only add to the huge traffic chaos that's already there. I can't imagine when my children were small bringing them to a daycare like that. I think I just wouldn't enroll them. This is a beautiful heritage home, and it has a heritage neighborhood. It's whenever I bring anybody to my home, 120 years old, people go, wow, this is the nicest part of Brampton. This is a beautiful part of Brampton. We need to nourish it, protect it. Alterations done that, to be fair to Mothercraft, when they did put out a site plan, I'm sorry I couldn't get this over the line, they shaded all the area that was going to be renovated, which is huge. When we got like minor adjustments documents, first of all, this was too small, And we all noticed that only half of the building was shaded, which meant if you took a perfunctory look at this, you'd miss the whole point that there's going to be a massive addition here. I believe that this area has not been zoned for a daycare. I don't believe it's a minor variance, none of us do, because it should never have gone before the Committee of Adjustment. The four-prong test under the Planning Act was not applied, even though the Planning Act requires this to be done. Studies by the city itself have deemed this single-family dwelling inappropriate due to the fact that there is no kiss and ride facility and no parking. So in conclusion, I think with the changes that we've all been very patient for in Brampton, watching trees come down and how buildings come down, but this is a gem of a neighborhood. And I just can't imagine anybody actually thinking that this is a good idea. When people are congested, they sell their house and they move. And when they move, then people come in and, let's just knock down these buildings and build 33-story apartment buildings. You get density something like Mississauga. I've been to downtown Mississauga. I just think...
You have about 1 minute left.
Thank you. I think it's a calamity. I don't like high-rises. I've lived in Europe, in mega cities, Munich, London, Dublin, and they're trying to preserve their old areas. They made mistakes, but this is an old area that is fundamentally a treasure in Brampton. And to start to make it into a place that's going to eventually lead to the eradication of this beautiful neighborhood in which I represent residents that have been here for decades. I've been here 30 years. People next door have been in their house 80 years, their family. It's a place you go into, you love your nurture, which is the only thing that would get me up here public speaking, because I don't like public speaking. I'm a teacher all my life, 4 seconds to go, but I don't like making speeches, but I love Brampton way more than that. So God bless you, and thank you so
Thank you so much, Margaret. The next delegation is Helen McCulley, Brampton resident, regarding minor variance application A something. Hi there.
To save time, can we bring up slide 2, please? The next one? No. Okay. Slide 2. Back to the photos, please. That one, thank you. Hello, my name is Helen McCauley, and I live at 51 Davis Street, where my family and I have been homeowners for nearly 40 years. I'm here today to formally request that the City of Brampton file an appeal with the Ontario Land Tribunal regarding the recent Committee of Adjustment decisions for 89 Mill Street North. Let's be very clear. There is an undeniable need for affordable childcare in Brampton. However, the need for a service does not justify an entirely inappropriate and unsafe location. Firstly, this application fails the 4 tests of the Planning Act. Transitioning a single-family home to a 75-person daily occupancy is not minor, it is not desirable, and it directly conflicts with the zoning bylaw and the official plan designed to protect our stable historic neighborhoods. A 60-child daycare with stiff 15 staff is a massive intensification, not a minor variance. This should have required a full zoning bylaw amendment, ensuring the rigorous planning and oversight council transparency that a voluntary lay committee simply cannot provide. Instead, the March 24th Committee of Adjustment meeting felt like a box-checking exercise where overwhelming community opposition, nearly unanimous across the downtown core, was systematically disregarded. We'll look to the slide. Our neighborhood is at a breaking point. This proposal ignores the physical reality of our streets. Over the last several years, we've watched a dangerous pattern emerge. The intersection of David and Mill Street has become a high-pressure zone, fueled by commuters racing to the GO station and heavy commercial traffic heading to the dead end of David Street. Let's look at this pattern of failure. At this corner, The red arrow, this represents the heavy traffic, consistent traffic flowing south on Mill Street north towards the downtown core. This just isn't just rush hour, it's constant. See the photo at the bottom right, taken at 7:30 on a Wednesday evening, showing the heavy traffic on Mill Street north. The yellow arrow, this shows the traffic heading west on David Street. These drivers are often using our residential street as a shortcut to avoid Main Street. The fatal flaw, because David Street is not a four-way stop, we see a reoccurring nightmare. Drivers on David Street mistakenly assume the cross traffic has a stop sign. They pull out directly into the path of oncoming vehicles rushing to the GO station or downtown. The result? Oncoming cars are forced to swerve or are physically pushed onto the front lawn of 89 Mill Street North, the exact location of the proposed outdoor play area. Just this past April 1st at 7:30 p.m., I witnessed the exact scenario. The driver of the white car you see here was simply trying to pick up his dad at the GO train. This is our daily reality. Can we have the other slide, please? I've witnessed over 100 accidents or near misses from my kitchen window since I am next door to 89 Mill Street North. Look at the tree in this photo, located within the proposed outdoor play area. The scars on that trunk are a silent record of the multiple cars that jumped the curb. Placing a child care center here is a gamble with children's lives that we cannot afford to take. The proposed kiss and ride picture here is a myth. As a former educator, I know how these systems work. A functional kiss and ride requires 2 lanes, one for dropping off independent students and a passing lane for exit. What is proposed here is a single-lane drive-through. Unlike older students who cannot hop out of the car in seconds, the toddlers must be unbuckled, gathered, and escorted inside by a parent. This is a 10 to 15-minute process. The predictable outcome is clear here. The proposed single-lane highway drive-through set up will cause immediately gridlock, stress parents, and rushing to get the train and will not wait in line. They will seek the convenience hazards of on-street parking at Mill and David, creating a permanent line of idling vehicles. This brings us to There are better options for child care centers. Just 1 block away at the old shoe factory, they have suitable commercial space. It's directly across from the GO station and has the infrastructure to support the scale of this operation without destroying our residential streets. Childcare belongs in purpose-built sites, not forced into houses never designed for this intensity. I urge Council to file an appeal of the Committee of Adjustment decision for 89 Mill Street with the Ontario Land Tribunal. Review the Committee of Adjustment process to ensure major intensifications like this are directed through proper zoning amendment channels in the future. The residents of this neighborhood deserve a planning process that prioritizes safety over convenience, and the families using these centers deserve a place that is actually safe and functional rather than a forced fit.
Thank you so much, Helen. Next delegation is Taryn Herder from Brampton resident, minor variance application A 2025-0113. Taryn, you have up to 5 minutes.
Not 10? Thanks. Hi, I'm Taryn Herder. I live on 87 Mill Street North. Where this daycare is, 89 Mill Street is right next door to my house. It is exactly 25 inches from our bedroom, from my daughter's bedroom and my bedroom. So you can see the picture right there. I think there's the next one too as well. Could you change it? So that's pretty well how close it is. I did a daycare survey asking daycares how long it actually takes to get children in and out. With several daycares, they said between 5 to 10 minutes. The average is 7 minutes. So with 60 cars coming in with 60 kids, it's going to take a lot longer than to move this traffic. That is a huge safety risk. There's also a risk with floods, with snow, fire hazards. And as you can see, I think one of the neighbors already showed, the neighbor already did a fire stump and let the fire going for several days. So it's definitely, we're putting this into not safe hands. My neighbor and I went around and we did a petition, 224 signatures to around our neighborhood. Not one person did not sign it. Everybody was against it, and they asked, how did this happen? We told them we came to the adjustment committee several times. We told them that we gave them all the facts and that 3 of the people were completely against it, even though they heard all the reasons why not. And they again asked, how could this happen? I said, Watch the video, see what happened. There was a TikTok made with over 230,000 views. As you can see, many residents and many community members were not happy when they seen that, you know, the voices of the community were not heard, were not listened to, and not cared for. We expect more from Brampton. If you were to do this in a community like Orangeville, I know community members in Orangeville, this would not happen. People in Orangeville are caring about their community, their heritage, and we need to take forth and care about our community. As you know, we didn't make any of the 4 tests. We went against every one of them. I don't have to go through them. You've all heard them, but we went against all of them. We need to take care of Brampton. We need to make Brampton nice. It's a nice community that people want to live there, want to feel safe, and it's a heritage community. We are a heritage community. We want to keep it that way. We want to keep it beautiful, nice neighborhoods that families want to live in, not traffic, because there will be accidents there. There'll be more accidents there, and the children will be hurt. And we want to be heard, and we want to be taken care of, and we want to make sure the children in our neighborhood are safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taryn. You made up for the lost time from the others. You're good. Thank you. Next one is Andre Shabbat, Brampton Residents Minor Variance Application, 2025-0113.
Perfect. I want to thank the council for seeing us today and hearing our voices. We are very concerned. We've come several times before the Committee of Adjustment to fight for our neighborhood, essentially, and to fight for a process that's failing us at this point. The Committee of Adjustments is there to make decisions on minor variances, and this is not minor in nature at all. We're talking about a residential home that anyone here who maybe is not living in a condo, is living in a regular home, your next door neighbor putting a 60-child daycare within it. It's not reasonable. It doesn't belong in a residential neighborhood, and it's not a minor change. The house that we're talking about in question on Mill Street North, it's a residential home. It's not zoned for commercial use. It's not zoned for commercial use. I don't know any, I'm currently in battles right now with bylaw to try and have issues resolved at my own house over an old triplex, 50 years old, that I have to make modifications to. And here's a house a few houses down the street from me that's allowed to put a commercial operation in a residential home without a flick of an eye, by a Committee of Adjustments who's a voluntary committee who, without stepping on toes, they're beyond their jurisdiction. They don't have merit to make these type of decisions for our community, for homeowners. And quite frankly, if you put this situation in any of their homes, there's no way that they would even consider making the same decision. It's a flawed system. It's flawed that we can allow minor variances or major variances such as a commercial operation in a residential area to be ignored and overlooked and to be put to the Committee of Adjustments for a decision. And it's really making our community question what happens in this council chamber every Wednesday with the Committee of Adjustments. In just one meeting, I saw these 2 mega daycares go for approval and get approval without a flinch. Pretty much only one of the members here opposing, heavily opposing, and the other members disregarding. There's a merit, I guess the planning department has a goal to add daycares, to add spots to daycares in the community, and we're fine with that. We're not opposed to daycares. We want them in the right places. These are people that are taking advantage of a low-cost home instead of going into a proper commercial space where these systems belong, where there's parking in place, where there's kiss and rides in place. It's not belong in a regular residential home. People are just looking for a good deal to open a daycare instead of bringing it to the proper commercial placement. We're in downtown Brampton. There are a lot of failing businesses. There are a lot of open commercial opportunities. Why are we not considering these? Why does a homeowner like this purchase a property with the intent to make it either a house of worship, which it doesn't qualify for, or a daycare, which it doesn't qualify for? I don't know anyone here in the room that would make an investment based on reaching for the stars. We're talking about a grand slam and you're the lowest striking percentage on the team. This is not how investors make decisions unless they're confident that the Committee of Adjustments or the council would not defend us. And so we're asking for help. We're begging for help. There's hundreds of people that have signed a petition saying, please help us, please hear us. We pay taxes. We love this community. And this is one individual that's going to make profit from our community, not contribute to our community, doesn't shovel the snow the entire season, lights the tree on fire and unattendedly leaves it for days on end. Fire trucks have to come and put it out. The owner of this property is not contributing to our community like the rest of the residents here that are begging for your ears and for your help. We need your help. This is not, I can go through the 4 tests. It doesn't pass any of them. It's not minor. That's the biggest one. This is a residential home. We're talking about putting a mega commercial 60-kid daycare there. It's not acceptable. And what happened is we're trying to put some temporary obligations. Let's see how the daycare does for 3 years. The council was about to accept, the Committee of Adjustments, to say, okay, let's put a 3-year pause. If things don't work out in 3 years, we can revoke their status. But as soon as we found out that there's provincial support, provincial money tied to these daycares, we all of a sudden said, you know what, let's give them 7 years so they get all the money from the government and we have no chance to defend ourselves. It's not fair a system that allows government funding to make decisions. A planning department is there to speak for the people and work for the people, not to make those decisions. Their job is to provide support and see if there's an opportunity to make this type of situation happen. And the Committee of Adjustments is using their recommendations, which they're forced to give, as justification to say yes to these places where they, quite frankly, don't have jurisdiction. It's not minor, it's very major, very, very major, and it's reoccurring. I've only seen it 1 week, but
Thanks so much, Andre. And Madam Clerk, just for clarification, regarding the COA decision-making process and whether or not council has a say regarding that, just for clarification.
Through you, Chair, that is correct. Once again, council cannot pause or change or undo or reverse a decision made by the Committee of Adjustment. Any changes would have to happen through an appeal to the OLT.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next delegation is Suresh Ramachandran, Brampton resident, regarding minor variance application A 2025-0113, and Suresh is joining us online. Suresh, please go ahead. You have up to 5 minutes.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor Brown and distinguished members of the council. Thank you for hearing my appeal. Very kind of you. So I'm going to be talking about, my name is Suresh Ramachandran and I'm a resident. I own the property across from this building, that is 49 David Street, which is a commercially zoned property and currently used as a daycare. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is the Mill Street. For people who are not familiar with this geography, in this location particularly, this is Mill Street. This is the Brampton GO Station parking lot, and every morning between the hours of 6:30 to 9:30, and again in the evening from say about 3:30 to 6:30, traffic is like just horrendous. I mean, it's difficult to get people. People are anxious in the morning to get there, find a parking spot, get to their work, and in the evenings they're trying to get out and go home as soon as possible. So it is a nightmare, and there have been many accidents in this areas, as another community member had pointed out. So can we move to the next slide, please? So this is the subject property zoomed in, and out on your right, you see the top right, you see the daycare center that's in my property. Again, it's a commercially zoned property. It's zoned. When I bought this property many years ago, it was commercially zoned, and I made sure that we had met all the requirements. Henceforth, we were allowed to put a daycare. The current capacity of this daycare is 34 children, and we have ample parking spot in this property, so it doesn't disturb the traffic that is flowing through. Now, if you see, there is a white line in between that parking lot in the property. That is a curb stone. I deliberately put this curb stone because people were driving through my property from David to Mill and vice versa to get to their location. And I was afraid they'll run over some child one of these days. So I put a curb zone to prevent them from going through. So that tells you how impatient these residents are to get home or get to work. Now, if you know the layout, can you move one slide back, please? One slide back, yeah. So out on the far right, you see that's here in Ontario. Now, that's immense traffic there. So people try to take David and Mill Street to come to the parking lot as soon as possible. So you can understand, and then this is further complicated when there is a construction or there's an accident in here in Ontario. The traffic is routed through Church Street. That includes transportation, that includes public transport. So everything is routed through this Mill Street. So that even complicates things further. Can you go to the third slide, please? Next slide, yes. So this is the this is the proposed site plan. Now, if you look, they have proposed a kiss and ride through this property. Even if you have this
Sorry
whole...
to interrupt. You have 1 minute left.
Okay, so I don't understand the concept of kiss and ride for toddlers and infants. You don't just kiss and ride them. Basically, this is going to be a big. They are going to wait. This whole thing is cluttering up Mill Street, and there's going to be a chaos. Next slide, please. And this is the capacity: 57 children with 10 staff. Move on to the next slide, please. This is the building. There are, if you notice, there are no windows in the basement. There is right now, as of now. Go on, please. Yeah, this is a proposed site plan where they are, next slide again. They are trying to make major changes to the structure of this building. This is a 100-year-old building. And I don't know how
thank you for the delegation. The time has expired. We will go to the missed delegation. Councillor Keenan, I think you believe the resident of yours was missed?
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't believe he was missed. I just wasn't here. Tom South. I've been made aware that he is in the building, and since he took the time out of the day, I was hoping that he could come down and give his delegation.
Okay, you have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. It's in regards to the daycare on the corner of John and Chapel. A lot of people don't realize Chapel is a very busy street with the downtown core construction and so on going on. You add 60 kids going into this building. The one thing I think a lot of people haven't taken into account is egress, exits, if, God forbid, there's a fire. And you've got 60 kids and a limited amount of staff to try and clear the kids out of the building. Your parking is absolutely atrocious. They're saying they can use the Armory to park. The last meeting they were saying, no, it hasn't been given. The grant hasn't been given to the daycare for the parking to be granted. They've got the theater lane under Rose Theater. They could park there, come up and drop the kids off. I don't see that happening. That's a nice little jaunt. Parking on John Street, traffic flow on John Street is a one-way street. I don't see that happening if parents are in a hurry to drop kids and leave. There's issues with John Street not being considered a one-way street because if you come up from Highway 10, you've always got traffic coming down because people don't want to take the proper route out. I've voiced my opinion. Hopefully it will be looked upon and the daycare is not granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I believe we need to do first a motion to receive all the delegation. No, we're going to move the report up after. Okay, so we're going to, pull the staff report up, but to the clerk, do we need to, if we want to refer the delegations to staff, we do that first, or do we have to receive them?
Yeah.
Okay, so a motion from Councillor Santos to receive and refer, all the delegations to staff. Second by Councillor Keenan. All those in favor, motion carries. Now we have the staff report, and we have Councillor Santos on the board.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to all the delegates who showed up today. Your delegations have been referred to staff. Councillor Keenan and I and other members of council have some questions directly to staff regarding the report that was brought forward for citywide study regarding daycare. So the first question I have to staff is that I've heard from numerous residents, particularly those around 89 Mill Street, that the property can be used as a place of worship. Can you just please clarify whether or not that is the case?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, places of worships are permitted in residential areas. However, they do have to meet a certain number of criteria, so lot size, lot coverage, parking and whatnot. I've visited this particular site on a few occasions, and it's my opinion that it would not be suitable for a place of worship.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Ganesh. Next question is, can you speak to some of the rigor of analysis that staff have to take when reviewing the site plan itself and the site plan process?
Sure, through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, and I'll look to the clerk if I'm straying into matters that relate to the Committee of Adjustment decision in response to delegates, but just in general terms, as staff always do for development applications, we'll look at things such as traffic access, traffic circulation in and around the site. We may ask for traffic modeling to be done to look at operational impacts. We'll also look at things such as sight lines, shadowing, noise. In some cases, pending the location of the site, we may look for studies to look at soil and whatnot to meet provincial standards. So there's a variety of studies that we need to look at in order to give ourselves the level of comfort that while the use may be permitted, the operations of the site make sense for the context of the area.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Ganesh. And my last question is specific to how spots are determined. So there have been some concerns raised regarding the number of children that are being allocated in these various daycare applications. Who is it that determines the allocation of children within the daycares that are coming forward? And how are they being determined by that body of government?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, so the province of Ontario, I guess one of their agencies determines the number of student allocation for a daycare. In the report that you have before you, it speaks to some of the criteria that staff were able to investigate in a short period of time. Some of that criteria speaks to the size of the building and whatnot, but beyond that, I'm not sure staff would need a little bit more time to further investigate with the province.
Thank you, Commissioner Ganesh. So ultimately, it is the province through their application process for daycare spots. It's not the city, correct? We are not the ones who determine how many children are allowed inside the daycare.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, that is correct.
So it's the province of Ontario, and through their process, they determine it.
Correct.
And our process, of course, as you had mentioned, is site plan, which is thorough and rigorous with respect to some of the comments you made on parking and traffic, etc.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions. I know Councillor Keenan has a few questions, but just a heads up, in addition to the referral of the delegations to staff, Councillor Keenan and I will be bringing forward a motion with respect to the staff report that's before the screen, and I will bring that motion forward when the questions are done.
Okay, Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. First of all, I really want to just give a massive shout out to Jessica on your team, Commissioner Ganesh. Worked over the weekend, the long weekend, be it to make sure that council was apprised of a lot of this information that's in this report. So you definitely owe her an Easter basket full of chocolate. I just want to say thanks, and thanks to the residents that came out and outlining a lot of their concerns around daycares. I know that Councilor Medeiros and myself have, fielded a lot of concerns. Councilor Medeiros and myself have been in contact, multiple meetings regarding this, this report, as well as concerns from our residents, and are definitely together in how we see this moving forward. I have a couple of questions for you, Commissioner, based on the report. My first one is the staff report on land use options for childcare speaks to staff looking at parking and traffic issues. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure, through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Keenan. So as the staff report speaks to a number of criteria that staff would have to undertake to give site plan approval. Traffic and parking issues not only touch on-site parking and circulation, but it may also look at things like daylight triangles. So if you have a corner lot, for instance, people will want to have a visibility, not only for residents, people who are walking, folks with strollers and whatnot, and then in winter for winter operations. So all of those things will be taken into consideration in more detail through the site plan process. Queuing, there's a number of things that we would do. In certain cases, as I mentioned to Councillor Santos, the city has the ability to ask for detailed traffic modeling to look at peak periods of what the load capacity would be in and around the area, and that's not uncommon that we do in certain situations.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, the report that yourself and Jessica put together speaks to some of the site plan studies that could further be explored at the approval of the site plans for childcare facilities. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, for instance, the traffic, you're talking about shadow studies and traffic requirements.
Sure, through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Keenan. As touched on in the report, and as I mentioned earlier, so again, for any development application to receive site plan approval from the city, a number of studies would have to be done. So wind, shadow, lighting, traffic circulation, noise. The Planning Act sets out a list of studies that the municipality can exercise and ask, as well as our official plan speaks to that as well. So we have that at our disposal.
Okay, great. And thank you to Councillor Santos and the other downtown councillors for working on this collaboratively and coming up with what I think are positive ways to deal with any situations that we may be facing. So I will happily second the motion that's coming forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Vasante.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the residents for coming out and expressing themselves very clearly as they have, not just here today, but at the Committee of Adjustment meetings. Thank you for being here. I know I've spoken to some of you and surely understand your concerns. One question to staff. So for both of these applications, is a site plan approval required?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Vicente, the public report that was tabled to the Committee of Adjustment clearly stated that site plan approval is required for both of these applications.
Very good. So I think that that's very important for the residents to know that there is still review, to Councillor Santos' point, a very rigorous review that still has to be undertaken. And I'm very supportive of the report for us going forward. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to also second the report.
Okay, great. So we don't have any other questions. I had the motion moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Keenan, and on new motion. Okay.
Thank you through Mr. Mayor. So the first part of the motion is that the delegations under today's agenda 7.2 be referred to staff. We've already done that. Yeah. The second piece of the motion is for Staff report back on a citywide study on daycares to include minimum parking and pickup drop-off requirements, including in the downtown Brampton core. So citywide study, land use study on daycares to include minimum parking and pickup drop-off requirements, including the downtown Brampton. Okay. And perhaps before that, okay. The next piece is that staff ensure a thorough and rigorous site plan process as it relates to 17 Chapel and 89 Mill Street North. And that updates be provided to local councillors regarding the site plan process for aforementioned applications. And that given the circumstances of the applications and submissions from public, final site plan be brought forward to council for final approval. And I can also send this over as well to help clarify wording if necessary. Given the circumstances of the applications and submissions from the public, final site plan be brought forward to council for final approval. And I have a 3, and then the fourth one is in regards to provincial advocacy. Which is to advocate to the provincial government to improve requirements regarding the allocation of subsidized daycare spaces beyond just square footage of the property. Sorry, 17 Chapel.
That's why we try to get the motions written in advance.
Yeah. Yeah. So that council advocate, so this would be part of the AMO process, to the provincial government to improve requirements regarding the allocation of subsidized daycare spaces beyond just square footage of the property. And Commissioner Ganesh will help us improve the wording.
Okay, so the motion that Commissioner Ganesh has, he sent directly to the clerk, right? Okay, so we've got Councillor language to be worked out, but we do have Councillor Plushy and Councillor Tor on the board. And if I could just ask for a clarification to Councillor Santos or Commissioner Ganesh, this doesn't affect the daycare at Embleton. We just got a funding grant for it yesterday. That was part of our application.
Through you, Mayor Brown, just maybe a couple things if I could to answer your question. This would not affect that particular application. This motion is, as I interpret it, is directing staff to just do a broad study of how we would look at childcares and daycares across the city, come back to council with some recommendations in and around parking and location and whatnot. As it relates to the two subject properties at Chapel and Mill, what I understand council is what council is asking of staff is to apply the site plan process as we would any application. To that end, I might suggest that a friendly amendment for council's consideration, we remove the word rigorous, because it would imply potentially a more thorough process to these two sites than we would any other. And it could imply that staff do not undertake a rigorous process, which we do.
I hear from Councillor Santos that's friendly? Yeah. Okay. Councillor Plushy, followed by Councillor Tour.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In speaking to, looking at daycares across the city, and a big supporter of this, I just wanted to speak to the fact that it's different when you're looking at daycares in, tighter areas like the downtown, as opposed to areas like in our area, on Wanlis or Sun Forest. Our areas may have more room to accommodate those daycares. They definitely have more room to accommodate those daycares in the majority of our areas, but it's the same effect that it puts on the residents and commuters in the area, because they're much greater they're on a larger scale. So when we're looking at this across the city, when you staff come back, I want to, and I say this, and I know staff always has great out of the box ideas, but in terms of this one, it needs to be somewhat of a scale in areas like, on Wanlis or some of the other areas where it has the 2 lanes, as opposed to this one that only has 1 lane. We still have the amount of, we have a greater amount of vehicles queuing on the live roads that impact the neighborhoods around them. I've seen a number of times where there are so many cars picking up and dropping off at one particular daycare that people can't get out of their driveways. And it is an absolute nightmare. So when we're looking at this across the city and we come back, there needs to be somewhat of a scale to say, you've provided this amount of cars or this amount of space for pickup and drop-offs. I certainly think that it needs to be increased in certain areas, but it has to be based off of the number of kids that attend, essentially, I would assume. Steve, do you have any comments on that?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Palashi, certainly we'll take that back. If I understand correctly, and this council has been very purposeful in ensuring recommendations are very context sensitive to the area. So when you talk about scale, we'll be sure to bring back a set of criteria that could speak to the various contexts. And I believe in the report that Jessica prepared, it speaks to road typology that we could use as one particular criteria.
So, and again, just want to make sure that when that does come back, it's just that scale that, there's a difference in Northwest Brampton outside of Mount Pleasant as opposed to, downtown. So look forward to seeing that report when it comes back and kind of setting the standards to provide people that are living in the area some ease and comfort knowing that this daycare isn't daycare, or even, some of the private schools too, is a possibility that we should be looking at or grouping into because of the effect that it has on the surrounding neighborhoods. Those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Next up is Councillor Tour, followed by Councillor Power and Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. And just speaking to the motion directly, I am in strong opposition to this motion, and I can tell you the reasons why. The first one, I see this as a massive waste of staff resource and time to do a citywide land use study. I certainly appreciate every single daycare space that I can get in wards 9 and 10. I think I'm the only member of council right now that actually drops off a kid to daycare every single day. And we could definitely use more spaces in our city. That just doesn't make sense. To point number 2, to make sure that staff do a thorough site plan process is so insulting to planning staff, because I believe that they always do a very thorough job. They are the ones that did the recommendation report that went in front of the Committee of Adjustment for those 2 addresses, based on which, committees made a decision on there. This is just adding more salt to that. You know, asking staff to make sure they do a thorough job. I think our staff do a very good job in the first place. Point number 3, I've never seen, at least in this term, that a final site plan approval come back to council for final approval. Again, like to do that just for 2 sites, it just seems so overpowered to bring that forward. And to the 4th point, I definitely don't want to be part of any provincial advocacy to restrict daycare spaces or funding allocation. Just yesterday, we got more funding allocation from the federal government for daycare spaces that are in the city. This is just, we will be the only city in the province that's advocating to the province to restrict daycare spaces. I strongly oppose all 4 of these points, and I want to make sure when the vote is called and that it be a recorded vote, and I'll be voting in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tour. Councillor Power.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just want to confirm, I know there's a number of daycares that are in the wards that I represent that are not in residential areas. None of this will affect them at all going forward.
Through the chair, through to Councillor Power. So my interpretation of this direction to staff is, number 1, is that we undertake a citywide land use. So irrespective of where the daycares are, we'll bring back recommendations that may or may not speak to ongoing applications for daycares. Point number 2 is specific to 2 particular daycare applications that I do not believe are in your ward, so there would be no impact.
Thank you, Councillor Power. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So I believe we're almost good with the motion that's up here to undertake a citywide land use study to include parking, pickup, and drop-off requirements in the drop-off requirements to include the downtown core. Yep. That staff ensure a thorough, instead of thorough, site plan process as it relates to minor variance applications. And since the applications are correctly listed, we can remove the addresses. And that updates be provided to local members of council for the site plan applications, yeah. And that given the circumstances of the minor variance applications as listed and submissions from the public, that the final subject site plans be presented to council for consideration of final approval. And then number 4, you could remove the in regard to provincial advocacy and just go straight to that council advocate to the provincial government to improve requirements of allocations for subsidized daycare spaces, including, i.e. more than just square footage requirements. That's just one example. It's quite a minimum threshold to pass, and that's kind of our point, is to say that they need to take a look at that more of the broader context of where things are going, or where these applications are going.
Okay, thank you, Councillor
Okay,
Santos.
thank
Councillor
you.
Santos, I'm going to ask for that to be actually removed to include the downtown core. It's citywide.
Okay,
It's
sounds
included
good.
in the downtown
Yeah,
core.
it's redundant, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and number 1, just remove to include the downtown core. Okay. And I believe Councillor Keenan is seconding the motion.
Okay. There's a request for a recorded vote on Councillor Vasante.
Thank you very much. Also like to second the motion, Mr. Mayor, and just a quick question through you to staff. I know that during the discussion, there was a lot said about the role that being in an MTSA with its lessened requirements for parking played a role in this decision-making. Will staff be looking at how MTSAs and daycares intersect?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Vicente, excellent question. Certainly staff will be doing that. And just as a reminder to council, the major transit station policy framework, aka MTSAs, are also part of provincial conformity for our official plan. So staff will have to bring back recommendations for council to ensure that our official plan does not put us out of provincial conformity to that effect.
Thank you very much. And want to just reiterate that I'd like to also second the motion. Thank you.
Okay, moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Keenan and Vicente. And Medeiros. And we have the deputy mayor on the board. And Councillor Medeiros on the board. So deputy mayor followed by Councillor Medeiros.
I'll be brief. I am working with 2 nonprofits in my area for their licenses, so I don't want to add additional delays or the only thing I would advocate for is more spaces. So I understand the frustration of the residents and understand the councilors where they're coming from, especially for their area. But if I look at my area, we need more spaces and we need more funding. So I will not be supporting this. Thank you.
Councillor Medeiros.
Sorry, thank you, Mayor Brown. It was just to also second it as well, fully supportive of the motion. Thank you, Councillor Santos, for your work, and certainly Councillor Keenan and Councillor Vicente. As one of the downtown councillors, happy to second it. Thank you.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Santos, second by Councillor Keenan, Vicente, and Medeiros. Councillor Palacio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor. I guess just that last comment, if Commissioner Ganesh can provide some, if there are other daycares in the pipeline, specifically ones that are in, 9 and 10 or 2 and 6, very similar areas, is this going to stop them or potentially put more of a process on them if they're already being worked on?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Palacio, staff do not have any direction today to stop the processing and reviewing of applications currently in the pipeline. Okay. All this motion does is direct staff to bring back recommendations by looking at daycares across the city. To your earlier point, sort of that being context sensitive of where they are, and those recommendations will reflect that.
Okay, good. I'm glad. If there was one coming in our area, I wouldn't want to stop it either, but I want to obviously have a discussion and know about it like the other area councilors, but I want to make sure it doesn't stop anything that's happening. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And just because there's some confusion, Councillor Tour, did you want a recorded vote, or did Councillor Keenan hear that incorrectly?
Yes, I want a recorded vote on this.
Yeah. Councillor Keenan, you have good ears. Okay, so to the clerk, we have a recorded vote.
Okay, through you, Mayor Brown, on the question on the screen, as reviewed by Councillor Santos in detail. All those in favor, please rise. And I see Councillor Power, Councillor Santos, Mayor Brown, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Palacio, Councillor Brar, and Councillor Vicente. And online, Councillor Fortini, how do you vote?
In favor.
Deputy Mayor, how do you vote?
I'm opposed. Thank you.
Councillor Medeiros, how do you vote?
In favor.
And Councillor Tour, how do you vote?
Opposed.
And that motion is carried.
Okay, thank you. To the clerk, do we have any public business left, or is everything else in camera? Oh, the planning minutes, yes.
The planning minutes and a discussion item 16.2 was added.
Okay, the planning minutes are
12.1.
12.1. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to I didn't attend the PDC meeting on March 23rd, and had I been there, I actually would have held the Brampton Heritage Board meeting minutes, particularly as it relates to item 8.6, 68 and 70 Nelson Street West. In speaking, the resident or the property owner did reach out to me, and I would like to refer that particular item in the heritage minutes 8.6, 68, 70 Nelson Street West, refer it back to staff to speak with the property owner directly and provide more information for the property owner, please.
Okay.
So we're referring that particular item. Thank you.
Okay, on Councillor Santos's item, and I believe there's also a Councillor Plushy item, but on Councillor Santos's, all those in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Yours is 16-2. Okay, so that I have motion moved by Councillor Keenan and Councillor Broad to approve the amended planning minutes.
Sorry, that's incorrect on the board. I apologize. Mr. Chair, that should say that the report be referred to staff. Referred back to staff. So number 1 is incorrect. We're not receiving the report. We are referring it back to staff. Correct. Yeah. So within the Heritage Board minutes from February the 17th, there was a specific report regarding those properties. I would like, and then it was approved at PDC. I would like that report to be referred back to staff. Okay, perfect. For more consultation, correct.
Okay. Wording is correct. Moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Burr. All those in favor, motion carries. This takes us to the added item 16 point. First of all, do any members have questions for the referred matters list? Seeing none. 16.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In speaking with staff and the area residents, this is an application that has come forward with a staff recommendation to permit the construction of a commercial plaza, fully support that commercial plaza. But the residents have certainly vocalized their opposition to the full move access onto El Camino, which essentially is right in front of some houses, right beside a house, and it's the inconvenience that this would put on, because we expect and we want the plaza to be successful, but the inconvenience that this would put on those residents is something that we obviously have to look at. Staff are not supportive of, because of the traffic, the impact study, are not supportive of having a full move access onto Credit View. And we understand that the proximity to El Camino, prohibits that and causes further issues. Wouldn't want a street light after, or a stoplight after a stoplight. But we want to be able to try and do something for the residents. And if that is that northbound traffic coming up Credit View has the opportunity to turn into that plaza, I think, at a minimum, that would be a little bit better for the residents. But we would also like to look at an opportunity to have a right in, right out. So then the southbound traffic could potentially go through the intersection and then have some kind of, maybe a shorter queuing spot, which isn't something that isn't out in the city. There are many places across the city that from the intersection have full move accesses and right in, right out accesses in that proximity to streetlights. So want to be able to have staff work with the applicants to try and see if they can come up with a right in, right out at the max, and at the minimum, a right in. But want that process to continue with everything that's going on in terms of having that go to site plan. But I would like to ask that site plan come to council, which is not something that we do often. Council designates the site plan to staff, and but at this time, I'd like that opportunity for it to come to council for council's ratification. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moved by Councillor Plushy, seconded by Councillor Brar. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to public question period. I believe we have one question online.
Through Mayor Brown, I have one question emailed. Sorry. The question has been submitted by Daryl Romeo. His question is regarding item 10.1.2, the purchasing activity quarterly report. And he says, "Good morning, Mr. Mayor and all councillors. Pertaining to the Q4 2025 purchasing activity quarterly report, line item number 89 on page 10 of 13 states it's for card and card reader replacement. Based on the original contract value plus now an extension value, is this replacement for all city-owned properties or just City Hall? Is it for City Hall itself, or is it for the original building or the new addition on George Street? And lastly, when was the original access control system installed?"
Okay, who on staff can answer that? Peter?
Through the chair, the card reader system replacement project is for all facilities across the city, and the existing system is over 20 years old.
Okay, do I see any other questions in the public or online? Seeing none. This takes us to bylaws. We have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Power to approve bylaws 47-2026 to 56-2026 inclusive. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to closed session business. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Brar, to move into closed session to deal with the following items. And the clerk, the items that we're going to close for are
Through Mayor Brown.
19.3,
19.3.
Open Meeting Exception 2392C and K Municipal Act. 19.5, 2-year Artificial Intelligence Pilot Proof of Concept Program Update. 19.7, Verbal Update City Planning Matters. 19.8, Verbal Update Sponsorship Agreement. All those in favor? Motion carries. The meeting is now recessed in order for council to consider its closed session business. Seeing the time, it's 11:20.
Hello? Yes.
Hi, Councillor Maderos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Coun-
Just seeing if we have quorum before we start again. I see Councillor Vasante, Councillor Brar, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Power, and online we have.
Through Mayor Brown, we have Councillor Maderos, Councillor Santos, and Councillor Tour online.
Councillor Paleshi, just want to note that in the audience, we have Mr. Yeshua Yunus. Okay, so in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, we will report in public session any outcomes from today's closed session business. As a result of our closed session business, we wish to report the following. We have 19.1 approved on consent, 19.2 approved on consent, 19.3 considered in closed session, direction was given, 19.4 was withdrawn at approval of the agenda. It was not discussed. 19.5 considered in closed session, direction was given. 19.6 approved on consent, not discussed in closed session. 19.7 not considered in closed session. 19.8 considered in closed session, direction was given. I have a confirming bylaw moved by Councillor Brar, second by Councillor Vasante, to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our last item of business is item 21, adjournment, and I have a motion moved by Councillor Tour, seconded by Councillor Santos, to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. The next meeting is Wednesday, April 22nd, 9:30 a.m.